Hello, my name is Terry Tamminen. I'm the president of Seventh Generation Advisors and the former secretary of the California Environmental Protection Agency for Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to thank the Confederation of Indian Industries and UNIDO, the ITPO Arab International Center for Entrepreneurship, for bringing us together today to discuss this important topic. Because with the COVID crisis coming to an end, hopefully for many of us very soon, the question is not how do we build, but how do we build back better? How can we make our communities safer, healthier, more sustainable, more just, and not just go back to business as usual? How can entrepreneurs in India attract more direct foreign investment for their innovative solutions to job creation and building back better? Well, I believe we can do all of that by reshaping our thinking about the connection between the environment and the economy before we reshape our communities and companies. So, I want to share with you some of the ways that my state, California, the world's fifth largest economy, overcame the last economic crisis that began in 2008 in much better shape than the rest of the United States and the world, ways that might help us all overcome the challenges of the current crisis. At the same time, we've proven we can improve the quality of our air, water, ecosystems, and create many new jobs and attract new investments in sustainable community infrastructure, all by working in public private partnerships, often with some very unlikely allies. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The earth provides enough to satisfy everyone's needs, but not everyone's greed." So, how would Gandhi approach the challenge of creating a more sustainable, fair community coming out of this COVID crisis? How would he create an economy that is more resilient to the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as Shakespeare called it, like climate change, social awakening, and public activism? Well, I think Gandhi would start by reminding us that the Earth's resources are finite. Not just tangible resources like forests, water, and even money, but also intangible ones like goodwill, our health, and even the forgiveness by future generations for the actions we take today that knowingly rob them of a better life. I think Gandhi would advise us to overcome past differences between government regulators, entrepreneurs, and environmental campaigners and get to work. So, first, let me share a story of how that can happen from a small community north of Los Angeles here in California, Sun Valley. Sun Valley is home to about 8,000 people and quite a number of light industrial businesses, and it was flooded every year in the rainy season. But Los Angeles County drew up a plan to build new stormwater sewers that would efficiently drain the water into the Pacific Ocean. Well, of course, the water would be polluted with oil and pesticide and heavy metals and everything else it picked up while flowing over a typical urban environment. But the residents and the businesses of Sun Valley were very happy about ending the flooding until they heard the cost: $50 million, a price tag that this very modest community simply couldn't afford. And then a clever environmental NGO called Tree People asked a simple question: what if we went back to square one and reimagined this project? Would we intentionally spend money to dump polluted water into the ocean? Would we intentionally waste billions of gallons of water at a time when we're spending billions more to ship water hundreds of miles from Northern California to the south to meet our needs for drinking and irrigation water? Well, instead, Tree People drew up a plan to remodel a dilapidated city park, putting huge cisterns beneath a new set of sports fields and picnic areas. Water could be drained into these cisterns, some of it recharging underground wells, and the rest used for civic landscape watering. The city could pay for the project by selling excess water to its neighbors. The revenue would pay for the new park, the solution to the flooding, and a permanent source of revenue to the town. Well, the project was completed. Land values increased near the fabulous new park, and the city prospered while solving a massive problem. The lesson from Sun Valley is that we can succeed not by remodeling our communities first, but by remodeling our thinking first. And that's what Gandhi would have us do again, this time by finding new ways for government, SMEs, environmentalists, and entrepreneurs to come together. Here's another example of how the environment and the economy are two sides of the same coin, and how these sectors can come together for great results. For the past 5 decades, California has been setting energy efficiency standards for everything from appliances and lightings to flat screen TVs and phone chargers. The result? We are 40% more energy efficient than the rest of the United States. Now, of course, some manufacturers complained about new regulation, but when the new standards apply to all competitors, the best technology wins. And sure enough, consumers were eager to save money on energy bills and wanted these new products. Environmental campaigners helped convince people to scrap their old refrigerators and appliances and buy new ones, which helped the retail businesses to sell new products and helped the government to achieve its goals for cleaner air and reduced greenhouse gases. Energy efficiency retrofits also make good investments in buildings. The Empire State Building in New York retrofit its lights, windows, and added insulation, and they now save 40% of their energy as a result. The Sears Tower in Chicago did the same thing, plus they retrofitted their heating and air conditioning and elevator motors, they added some wind turbines to the roof, and they saved 80%, 80% of their energy. And with more electric cars looking for places to charge, that's a lot of excess capacity on the grid or in that building that could be charging a lot of cars. And speaking of cars, another example of a great public-private partnership to help us power a clean transportation future is hydrogen and electric fuel cell cars. As EPA Secretary, I convened the Hydrogen Highway Initiative to bring together the stakeholders from government and industry and NGOs to get everybody to contribute to some part of this problem of bringing the cars and having the fueling station at the same time. The result is that the state taxpayers invested about $1 for every $6 that was invested by industry and others, and we now have dozens of fueling stations and thousands of clean hydrogen electric cars, trucks, and heavy equipment operating in the state. Profitable new jobs and businesses that address our environmental challenges and improve air quality at a time we know that pollution has contributed to breathing problems that add to coronavirus symptoms. Now, many people have asked, can we get the hydrogen from clean sources? Well, there's enough hydrogen in a gallon of water to power your car the same distance it travels today on a gallon of gasoline. So think gallon of water equals gallon of fuel. And there's enough hydrogen in the water discharged by Los Angeles sewage treatment plants alone every day to power the entire United States transportation fleet. Yes, we could get 100% of the hydrogen we need for all U.S. transportation from our wastewater, water that today is treated at great expense and dumped into rivers and the ocean. By using that spare energy from energy efficiency retrofits to electrolyze the wastewater and make hydrogen to fuel our cars. We're already making hydrogen in California from livestock waste and urban green waste. 2 more ways to achieve sustainable, responsible investments by eliminating waste of great resources in cooperation with entrepreneurs, municipal sewage treatment plants, investors, and environmentalists. And this works just as well in India. And with the Swachh Bharat program, all of the material that's being collected in municipal waste dumps and with new sewage treatment plants, all of that could be converted into these valuable new materials. The young Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg asks us to act like the house is on fire when it comes to climate change. Well, we can't do everything at once, especially as we face the challenges of recovering from a COVID pandemic. But as Gandhi said, you may never know what results come of your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be no results. I know you are all ready to take action, and all of us in California are ready to help in any way we can. Thank you.